I'm Tato Cat. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Lake of Voices. Previously, we got closer to Lou. We talked about some silly things, and the mood got a whole lot better. Now Margaret and I are just having one of those relationships of stares. You just stare, and it's like romance. And yeah, that is pretty much where we left off. So yeah, let's continue. I catch Margaret's eyes, and we spend a moment sharing a gentle connection. For a brief moment, all the troublesome circumstances seem to float away from our minds, and we enjoy each other's company. Troublesome circumstances. Does that include Bimole? Because that seems like a pretty light-hearted way of saying something like that. Him getting dragged to his death, but sure, troublesome circumstances. I wish it could go on for so much longer, but it's only a while later that I have to speak up.
We should make our way to the meeting point now.
Kika kills the mood. Margaret nods in agreement. Lou shrugs. I lead us over to the area where the guide mentioned we were going to meet. Margaret and I sit together. She lightly rests her head against my shoulder. Aww. The three of us quietly wait for the guide's arrival, occasionally chatting with one another as we rest. Sorry, the music. So like you get this kind of this kind of peaceful, happy music. You know, it's so nice. And then the guide shows up. Immediately, sad things will happen. Poor guide. And the thing is, that music's always playing when he's around. The sky turns orange as sunset comes upon us. As the color seems to drain from the world being consumed by the fog, the guide makes his appearance.
It's almost time.
I nod and feel myself grow tense. We truly are about to return to those bridges. All of us wait in an uncomfortable silence until night falls. We silently stand as one forming a vigil of sorts. Our remaining lanterns illuminate the dark, prepared for tonight's journey. And yet, the way forward does not appear. The bridges haven't risen from the depths. I glance to my side. The guide doesn't look at all pleased. The corners of his mouth have a harsh bit as he briefly loses himself to heavy thoughts.
We must go to the shore.
Okay. This isn't sounding great. He doesn't offer an explanation of why. Instead, he goes on without us. I follow after the guide, my forehead creasing with swelling worry. Behind me, I hear Margaret's and Lou's unsure footsteps. The four of us press on to the shore. The dark waters lap at the edges of the sand, and, as expected, the maze is still hidden beneath the surface. The guide grips his staff tighter still, his knuckles turning ghostly white. He sucks in a breath of air like he's about to speak, but he hesitates. We all stare at him expectantly. After a moment more, the guide is fed up with waiting.
The bridges are late. If they don't arrive as soon as darkness falls, there's no telling exactly how long it will be before they do.
Wonderful. And why is this happening? Is Lou cursed? Is that why it's happening? Lou doesn't say anything, opting to stare at the ground with an obscured expression. Did I do something? She's supposed to say that, right? She doesn't say it. I guess I will have to say it on her behalf. I don't have a good Kika voice. Do you believe we will have enough time to cross? Yeah, it's not great. Her voice is quite low for me.
Time is by far the least of our worries. On the bridges we are constantly moving, which makes it easier to avoid the prowlers. However, this island does not offer that luxury. We're trapped here.
I don't like the sound of that. My body goes rigid as his words sink in.
More importantly, the bridges are raised above the waters. Nixie have difficulties pulling themselves up onto the bridges. The soft sloping of the shore will allow far more prowlers to drag themselves towards us.
Question, Mr. Guide, sir. Could we perhaps climb a tree? You know, if they have a hard time getting up the bridge, wouldn't it be harder to go up a tree? Why don't we do that? That seems safe.
Not all will be as dangerous as the ones we've encountered thus far. However, we could easily be overwhelmed.
A pit forms deep in my stomach. I stare at him again, aghast. I had no idea the situation was that dire. I glanced from the water line to the trees. What I'm looking for, I don't know. A sign of what might be to come, perhaps. Margaret moves into discussion. Sounds a bit weird in my head, but maybe it makes sense. Her mood is rapidly declining as well.
Then what should we do? We shouldn't stay on the shore if the monsters could be coming towards us at any moment.
The guide closes his eyes and suddenly looks very worn down.
Staying in the center of the island is the safest option. However, there's the risk that we may not be able to reach the bridges when they do rise. Prowlers could have taken full control of the shore by then. Remaining here with our lanterns will ensure the prowlers cannot move freely.
I feel so bad for the guy because for him, he comes to this side of Sinlos or whatever expecting Margaret, right? And I assume he's aware that she wants to become a guide. I could be wrong. And instead, he sees Bimley and Kika and Margaret. And we're like, we got to get across. Grumble, grumble, grumble. And he's like, you can, but one of you's gonna die. And he's like, you could go around, because if you do the bridge, you will die. And we're like, we will go with you. And he's probably like, oh, fuck, fine. So then we keep walking, and then we find another guy. And he's like, we just gotta leave him. And we're like, no, we must save him. He's like, shit. And so now he's just like, fine, it's gotta be in the back. And then we're running in the fire, and then we lose him, and he's probably running too, and he looks back and we're nothing. He's like, probably, God damn it. And then he has to whistle, and then we find him, and now we get here after he's come back for us, really. Like, he could have just left us all behind, but he came back for us. And now we're in this situation. He's like, okay, this is what we gotta do. And we're still like, whine, complain. I feel so bad for him. My brows involuntarily knit together. I don't like the sound of taking additional risks in an area that is already so dangerous. But our options are thin.
I will not be kept on this island for another day, so the shore is where I will be. You may wait at the edge of the forest, or even at the center of the island if you fear being attacked.
Yeah, he's done with us. Rightfully so.
If the prowlers come between us and you fail to make it to the bridges, I will leave you behind.
I don't blame you, dude. It's probably like I should have just stayed home and binged watched Outlander or something. The guide has made his decision, and we must make ours.
If you were staying by the shore, perhaps I could be positioned somewhat further back from you, and then the others could stay further back still. That would keep us safer, without having any major gaps of darkness between us and the shore.
Sounds like a plan, but I imagine it is not going to go well, because if it did, that wouldn't be a story now, would it?
I'd say that's likely our best option, and we don't have time to come up with any other way regardless.
Fine.
Settled on the matter, the three of us begin to move away from the guide. He pays little attention to us, instead silently fixing his eyes on the water. I take my place in the middle of the shore, while Margaret and Lou hover close to the island core on the line between dirt and sand. After getting a sense of where they are, I turn my gaze ahead. And this is pretty, whatever this is. However, I don't know if this is the sky, the water, or if these are eyes that are going nom nom humans. I mean, they kind of look like eyes. I think they're nom nom eyes. At first, I think I'm being fooled by the fog. There are several white dots playing along the edge of the water. Dark glows begin to surface and I see them for what they are. Eyes. So they're nom nom people eyes. Got it. So many white dribbling eyes, gleaming sharply against their pitch black bodies as the Nixie bob up and down. They surface and disappear in a loop, each time more sets of eyes and closer, surveying us more intently. Then they cackle. The sound is atrocious, gurgling, then turning high-pitched as they seem to take full stock. The light in their eyes somehow seem brighter as the first of the Nixie dig their claws into the sand and began dragging themselves upon the shore. I plant my feet firmer. A shrill shriek pierces the air, accompanied by a telltale hiss. I whip my head backward towards the sound, only to be greeted by coal black darkness. I cry out desperately into the void where Margaret and Lou stood.
What happened?
Uh-oh. There's silence. Then, the best sound possible, Margaret's voice replies, albeit shakily.
There was a prowler in the woods. I didn't notice it until it was already too close to me. I dropped my lantern when I saw it. The light was enough to drive it away, but now it's gone. Shattered.
Okay. Where was Lou? That's my question. She can't see, so why is she holding anything? I swerve my head back to make sure the shore is still clear before sprinting over to release them from the darkness with my own light. Margaret stares down at the ground dejectedly when I arrive. Lou stands nearby. He avoids eye contact by awkwardly looking away as I approach the two closer.
We can make a small fire for light.
Margaret sniffles loudly.
That may work for now, but what will we do once we're back on the bridges?
I don't know, your scarf shawl thing looks pretty flammable. How about we get a branch, wrap that around it, light it on fire? Huh?
We will manage.
I speak firmly, trying to assure her. I can't even guess how effective the attempt was.
Lou, please, clear some space while I gather kindling.
Who looks startled at suddenly being addressed, but quickly nods and gets to work, pushing away the leaves on a small patch of dirt. Margaret moves to help him, though she still looks terribly upset. I feel awful. It wasn't her fault. We dig a few inches down in the sandy soil before making an edging with the rocks to stop the fire from giving us a repeat of last night. Oh, yeah, why not though? The bridges aren't even up yet. I layer the fuel quickly and light a match at the base of the pit. Margaret stokes the fire with Lou looking on. The grass ignites easily and showers the area with enough light to keep anything else that may be lurking in the forest at bay. I release a discreet sigh. We're truly lucky no one was injured or lost during this ordeal. I keep that thought to myself, however. Hearing it would only make Margaret feel worse.
You should go back to your position, Kika. It will all be for nothing if we can't make it onto the bridges in the first place.
Right.
I force myself to sound bold.
We're going to get through this.
Margaret attempts to smile at me. Lou views her empty expression for a moment before turning to move towards a nearby tree. He easily scales it. Absolutely puzzled, Margaret and I watch each movement as he lifts himself into the branches. See, like I said, why not just climb a tree? Watch there's like flying Nixie or something.
I figured there's not much of a chance any Nixie will get a hold of me here. They won't climb.
His voice is lighthearted with an easy confidence.
Well, I won't bother trying to argue with that logic.
Margaret has shaken off some of her sorrow. being in a better mood now. I smile to myself. I don't like to believe that I would like to believe that Lou will truly be safe from those predatory creatures this way. With the two of them doing as well as they can be, I cautiously back up to my original position. I return my full focus to the shore. As we feared, this is becoming a pressing situation. More prowlers rose from the water with my attention, while my attention was on those two. Oh. Ugh, that sounds so gross. Is that what they sound like? Eek. They surrounded the guide on both sides. The only way to gain distance from them would be to delve further into the island. Yet, the guide shows no signs of giving up his position. He remains where he is, resolving to keep all the monsters near him in his sight. I grow more unnerved the longer I watch this. The guide seems impervious to the dangers of Sinlos. This is the first case where I can't tell whether he will continue to be fine as always or not. It's a distressing notion. Well, he is a human being. So, and I assume this happens to guides. They get eaten. As they creep ever closer, I can't stay silent any longer.
Your safety is most important. Consider retreating.
His safety is most important, which means if there's an option that involves saving him or leaving everyone else, I'm probably going to save him. And hopefully Margaret lives. He doesn't face me, but replies.
I cannot do that. Nixie recognized signs of weakness. Backing away will only increase the odds of them attacking.
Are they like dogs? So basically, he's screwed. I grip my lantern tighter as I swallow hard. What can I do? Oh, is there going to be a choice? No, not yet. This game. It's basically telling me there's going to be a choice. But first, more dialogue. As if answering my own question, a thought whispers into my mind, and I look down at the lantern in my hand. I could throw it, as long as I don't let it go too far down the shore. It doesn't seem plausible that a Nyx would take it. okay. Sure. We'll see if we'll be able to save the guide in the next episode. I am Tato Cat. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon,